Brews and Banter.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, Roman, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. We have another great guest.
This is one I'm probably most excited about, really, in recent history. I mean, other than everyone I do with you, this one is. One's pretty exciting to me.
I love how fast their story has spread, and we even heard it here in Syracuse. So
and we got some beers, so we'll start with beers and
start with beers, and we got stout. You got
stout,
same one. All right,
and we're going to introduce Grant. So I apologize because I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name.
That's right. It's Majors.
Okay,
Majors.
Perfect. Well, I didn't. I know. that's what I figured it was, but I don't know if it was like Maggers or some other. It's a different spelling than you'd think. So, anyway, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
I'm set up too. I got just a little brown water for myself.
Yeah, that's good.
Cheers.
So why don't you introduce yourself and we'll start from there.
Yeah. So thanks. Yeah, Grant Majors. I'm out of Dallas, Texas, and the CEO and one of the founders of American Rounds here in Dallas. And we're a ammunition retailer, and we're just doing it a little bit differently.
That's right.
Yeah,
we like the story. I saw it somewhere, and I was talking to Roman. We're both big. After this, by the way, I'll show you a video. I'll show you off camera something that
nice.
that I have. But me and Roman talk about this. We're 2A supporters, and we're just big into all this stuff that I'm sure you are as well. So we appreciate what you're doing. But for people that don't know, Grant and his company have they've started a company about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago with
summer of 23 is when we founded the company, and then we launched our first machine November of 23.
Yeah, so these are they're bullet vending machines is what they are, and they sell rounds of ammunition and just the technology you have to do that and sort of so. Yeah, if you want to talk more about that, but then also the regulatory process as far as approval goes. I'm surprised that it's federally approved.
Well, let's get into how this vending machine started.
Okay, so my partner and I, we were actually looking at automated retail for a different industry altogether. We were doing consulting work with a group. And so we started looking at automated retail for their products to go into grocery store space. Mm-hmm. We had some strategic grocery store partners. And when we started sharing the idea with them, they love the concept of automated retail, and they wanted to get into that. And but they came back to us and said, we kind of like what you guys are proposing, but could you sell ammo? Our customers, we want to carry ammo as a category. Our customers want ammo, and could we use them for that purpose? So it took me about 10 seconds to think about it. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, we could. We'd love to.
Well, a grocery store asked for this?
The stores themselves actually came to us and asked for it.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Get some broccoli.
So we started. Now, of course, we dove right into the legality of it. Just looking at the ammo industry in general, and everybody associated with our company. We're all, shooters at some level, whether it's just target range shooting or we're hunters, or we've got several ex-military associated with us. And so, we started really looking at all the legalities of it, making sure that everything we do is compliant with federal, local, state laws. And, we did our homework and said, yeah, absolutely, we can do this. And so the idea was born. That conversation was in March. So we went from March to the summer, founding the company, to launch in November. So we moved really quick.
Sure, absolutely. And most people start a business, they have an idea. They're like, we've got to figure out how to market this and who's going to buy it. But you had someone come to you, or a bunch of people come to you, so you already had your stuff sold before you even started the business.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
Yeah, it kind of just kind of fell in our lap, man. It was blessing, kind of luck. It was great.
And so how does it work? I know you've got the they'll scan an ID. You got some AI for facial recognition, and then as far as dispensing, you buy a brick, you buy one. Like, how's that work?
Yeah, so it is required. There is an ID verification process that's required. I mean, that's part of meeting the legal requirements. Federally, there's not an ID verification law for the selling ammo, but that's a state by state law, and it varies. The age will vary state by state. Typically, it's 18 for rifle and shotgun, 21 for pistol, handgun. So that's usually the standard depending on your state. And so we, of course, have to do an ID verification process. You scan your ID. It'll verify that it's a legitimate ID. It's not a fake. It'll verify it's not expired. It'll then do a facial recognition to match you to your ID. So it can verify you are the person, represented on the ID. You're not trying to use somebody else's. And then it'll complete the transaction. And if for some reason the identification does not verify, it'll cancel the transaction. And, in terms of, dispensing, we carry all the major brands that you're going to find in any big box retailer. So it's, we've got handgun, rifle, shotgun, everything from 22 to 9mm, 12 gauge, slugs, 223. I mean, pretty much the whole gambit, whatever it is you're looking for. Just major brands, and it'll dispense by box. So, you might, 9mm box might be 50 rounds. It just depends on what you're purchasing.
Yep, that's perfect. And
you also sell, besides Full Metal Jackets, hollow points as well?
Yeah, so we have target rounds and self-defense rounds. So we'll have, target rounds, we'll have hollow point, we'll have, various grains, depending on what it is you're looking for your potato. The machine itself will hold about 32 different SKUs. So it's, it's quite a few different SKUs in there. So we can have a pretty large assortment.
Sure.
And then we adjust it based on season. So as we're entering fall, we'll start having a lot more different rifle rounds that are available that maybe we didn't carry in the summer just because it's going to be a lower selling item during the summer.
And then these machines take cash, or is it just a credit card purchase? Or
it's credit card only. I mean, part of that's security, and another part of it's just ease of transaction. I mean, just most people nowadays use their debit or credit card. Not as many people carry cash, but then we don't. It's just less risk with us having to get machines, carry cash, do that kind of thing. And
that's right.
It's just, especially when we're dealing with ammo or restocking ammo and things like that. It's just more of it's as much of a safety issue as it is an application issue.
Are you required with the KYC, like know your customer?
I beg your pardon?
Are you required to have like know your customer transaction? Like, are you familiar with KYC?
No.
Know your customer, so it's just like it has to verify phone numbers, facial recognition.
So in most of the states in the country, you don't have to do that, right? For ammunition, there's no background checks, there's no anything like that. So our identification is purely for that age requirement purpose and to validate that person is who they say they are. We don't store that data, right? So that data is never stored anywhere in the cloud or a server or anything. So therefore, it's not shared with anybody. Good. We maintain the privacy of our customers. Now, clearly, with credit card transactions, just like anywhere else, if you buy it at a big box store, online, anywhere, and you're using a credit card, the merchant services have that that record. Credit card processing companies, but we don't store any of that kind of information. And we get a lot of questions about, hey, are you guys doing background checks? Why aren't you doing background checks? Well, background checks just aren't required for ammunition sales. And there's some very good reasons for that, right now. But there's about 6 states plus Washington, D.C. that require it. So currently we wouldn't roll our machines into those states without, being able to comply with that.
Man.
That's right now.
That's what we're running into. I mean, we're in New York, so we're kind of under this
one of those states
stranglehold of we're put into a straitjacket with a Hannibal Lecter mask and some sumo wrestler just restricting us, just sitting on us. Spitballs are going to be fucking outlawed at some point. It's just it's ridiculous here, and it is what it is. But so you're federally approved, but the states that you can put these in, there's going to be 40 that you can do.
Yeah, a little bit more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. 44, I suppose.
44 less DC. Yeah. Absolutely. So, that's one of the big questions we get, particularly from the 2A community is, when we first rolled out, there was a knee jerk reaction really by both sides, whether you're pro gun or you're anti-gun lobby. Both of them had a knee jerk reaction. One side, it was, oh, this is terrible and all the reasons why, on the anti-gun lobby, and the 2A side, they were like, oh, they're giving our information to the government. And this is another way to track, right? We are extremely pro 2A. And it's the exact opposite, in fact. What I've tried to explain to people is that if you look at the current laws on the books and you look at and I'm not dissing on any of our fellow ammunition folks out there that are selling maybe online, but if you look at that, right, any 15-year-old with a parent's ID could go buy 1,000 rounds of 223 and have it shipped right to the house.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. And it's my personal belief that the anti-gun lobby is fine with that problem. Because what happens is the more that problem exists, it gives them leverage to enact stronger and stricter laws.
Yeah, that's their ammunition, right? That's
their ammunition. Right. So what we've done is we've created a system that always complies with the state, federal, and local laws, right? And that way, we're taking that leverage away. Now, and in all honesty, let's be honest, the average school shooting that's occurred in this country, the average age is about 17. Okay, so those people can't buy from our machines. In fact, we went above the requirement and set our age limit at 21, regardless of round. So, we're trying to take away that leverage and give the power back to the responsible, gun owner, because and I think everybody really, when you are a responsible gun owner, that's what you want to see. Nobody wants to see the tragedies, and we feel like we'll be able to reduce tragedy by going about this direction.
That's good. You guys do that. Oftentimes, I find myself educating people who don't understand how many regulations we have to go through in order to obtain our concealed carry licenses, or even just in this state to buy like hunting ammunition. And they're surprised. They're like, really? You do background checks? And like, of course.
Oh yeah.
So there's a process. And I'm glad that you guys take that direction to do that extra security, yet protect the Second Amendment. And these machines are amazing. Did you guys find a company that specifically developed these machines for you, or they existed, you just modifying them for the ammunition?
Are these like Dixie Narco kind of machines you see out there for sodas?
We've got a couple of different manufacturers that we work with. Automated retail is being used in a lot of different market segments. There's a company that had beer machines at the Super Bowl last year in automated retail space. There are AI bartenders machines out there that are being developed and being used. There was one recently at Ranger Stadium. So it's more and more common. There's more companies out there doing it, and going that direction. Now we've taken some IP steps, intellectual property steps on our end in terms of the vending of ammo specifically. But I think we're going to see in the market, when it comes to high theft items and age restricted items, more automated retail, because ever since the lockdowns, right, the cost of running a business has gone up, cost of employees have gone up. So automated retails for stores make a lot of sense, and it's better for them financially.
Yeah, and these things, there, if it's like a regular vending machine, you kind of got the little cam lock or whatever thing is on there, and these are not easy to get into. I mean, you can figure it out, but it's going to take some time. So if someone wanted to steal something from here, it's not going to be a minute. So
these are 2,000 with the ammo inside them. They're about 2,000 pounds. Yeah, they're double walled steel. They're in the stores with security cameras. I mean, this isn't like a smash and grab vestibule that's got a small ATM in it or something like that.
That's right. And then so you have probably some sort of field reps or something that sort of have to restock these, right? Or
we employ our restockers. Anybody that works for us undergoes background checks, for obvious reasons. And we have to restock machines right now almost about every 2 weeks, at some level of a category. We're keeping up there.
And so I think when I first saw that article, you were at maybe 6 machines with orders for over 200 plus. So I don't know where you're at now.
So we have so much demand, it's been overwhelming. We're now in Oklahoma, Alabama, Texas, and Colorado. But we have made a strategic decision, and we're working on it all right now. Hopefully within about 60 days, we'll release it, but we're franchising the business.
Oh, nice.
We have so much demand. We had over 700 requests for franchises in the span of a month.
Without you announcing there was a franchise option.
We weren't even. We had thought of it. We of course had thought about it, talked about it, but we hadn't made the decision yet, and we were kind of, just perfecting the model, making it right. Because you just want to be able to just replicate that model and help people be successful. So, we're at that place, and so we're excited to roll that out, and but we've got requests from Hawaii to Alaska. I mean, in New York, California, we have requests everywhere. Like I said, certain states will hold off right now, but every state in the country's reached out to us.
Sure.
At least once. Yeah.
So, like the Midas touch, everything you touch turns to gold. He's like, everything he touches turns to sold. Like, it's not even, I mean, things are sold before you even do it. It's great. But so the people that want to do it in New York, because now I'll talk to Roman about getting a franchise here, but like, how would that work here if you can't do it, right? Yeah.
New York would be different. Like if we did something in New York, California, we couldn't roll the machine out there without complete, legal compliance.
Right.
So you've got different laws there, things like that. I mean, could we do that with machines? Could we can do, I mean, it's not a problem from the software side to be able to do what would be required there. It's some of it's just strategic, whether or not, does it make sense right now with all the demand we have everywhere else where we don't have to take those steps and those kind of things. But, we're certainly looking at and keeping all options open. And, I mean, folks in New York and California, their Second Amendment is as important, as anywhere else. And so,
right.
We want to look to figure out a way that we can work with every state.
Yeah. So in the New York side of things, I think the only hang up is there's background checks. So if your software allows that, I mean, I don't see how that would be impossible, but of course, once that gets approved and you get that figured out, they're going to throw something else our way. That's now fingerprint approval or like eye scan or some bullshit. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's that's the thing. Again, I go back to that original conversation. I mean, so theft among big box retail since the lockdowns is up about 30+%. So we have one store up there in the Northeast, one of the big box retailers. You guys probably will know who it is.
Does it begin with a W?
It wasn't a W, but they had half a million rounds stolen in 1 year from one location.
Wow.
Okay. So the rise in off the shelf theft of ammo has just gone through the roof. I mean, it's just astronomical. So, and we've added 8 million plus new first time gun owners, firearm owners since the lockdowns. So that's just an enormous people that never have, owned or been registered for a weapon before that now are.
Yeah.
So the ammunition demand's gone up and, theft has gone up. And so we look at all these things and then we look at the availability that's online that, every child has this in their hand and could order ammo theoretically, and we got to go back, I think, as a 2A community and say, okay, are we digging ourselves a hole that the anti-gun lobby is going to use against us, and we don't even know it? We're digging our own grave and we don't even know it. So let's get compliant with the laws that are on the books within the states we're in. Let's get compliant. Let's do it by the book and take that leverage away. And we just feel like we've got a system that does that. I've been buying ammo since I'm 51 now. Been buying ammo on my own since I was 18. I've never been carded one time. Nobody's ever asked for an ID one time in my entire life. So, which is supposed to be a part of the law here.
That's right. Well, it's supposed to be a part of the law a lot of places.
I
but
think it was.
For us, it's not.
It was like that here before. Then it got to like, do you have your so if you're buying a pistol rounds, they asked you for to see your
now your permit, yeah.
And now it moved to the background checks,
right?
So there's like more and more hoops to go through.
Sorry to interrupt you, but on our permit here, we also had to get an endorsement for a semi-automatic rifle. So you cannot buy or even a rifle or anything unless that's on your pistol permit that's semi-automatic.
Right. So consider this for a minute. So if they were to enact a federal level background check for ammunition purchases, you're looking at 250 or so million background checks a year. Now, Dick's Sporting Goods has already gotten rid of ammo. Walmart's divested 2,000 or so of their 4,500 stores and are planning on continuing to divest the category. If you're other big box retailers, so your Academies, your Cabela's, your Shields, these type of, typical outdoorsman stores, if they start having to do background checks for every ammo purchase, you'll have a line out the door. And they don't have the staff to keep up with that. It would overwhelm the system. And at that point, these stores are going to have to get rid of the category because they're not going to be able to afford to maintain that. So we can use technology to get compliant with the process of the laws that are already on the books. And then let's do that legit. We'll reduce tragedy and then, take that leverage away. Then I think as a 2A community, we got to start looking at it that way.
Yeah. And with 100% honesty, that was part of our problem whenever we had obtained pistol permits. It was an 18 to 24 month wait. And I think part of that is by design. They want people to sort of get hung up in the system, and then they're hoping people just say, fuck it, I don't want it anymore.
100%.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, it's illegal, but it's bullshit. It really, it just.
Inconvenience creates less desire. And people are more for convenience and ease of use. And, that's why we put so much information on social media and cell phones. It's like, we give away so much privacy because it's convenient and easy. And I think it's like, that's the concept. Make it difficult. They'll lose interest. But when the lockdown happened, like you said, over 8 million new applications were submitted for handguns. Yeah. And that demand skyrocketed. You said ammo was huge demand. And how are you set up with ammunition manufacturers to be able to deliver that?
Yeah, so we're subject to the same issues that any other retailer is going to be subject to when it comes to ammunition supply. But we've got multiple suppliers that we work with, for ammunition. We're not zeroed in with one. We've got about 4 right now that we work with. One might be short on one, the other ones will have it, and we just kind of balance that. We try to prepare for it. There's rumor that there's going to be some, raw material shortages soon. And those raw materials will then affect the manufacturers and so forth. And I mean, that's certainly a possibility. And, it's going to impact us all across the board. But we try to, I think like all the retailers, you try to get ahead of that. You try to plan for that. And we keep supply with what we can in those situations.
Yeah. So with the working capital, if you can afford to carry that inventory, then that sort of helps buffer, that. But I know 2 or 3 years ago when there was an ammo shortage, I guess the rumor was, I don't know how to confirm it, but it was that the government kind of has these ammo purchases in place, and then they make, like selling stock, they make all of a sudden a call order, and then everybody's got to supply all their shit to those people, and then people like us are ass out, right?
Right.
But if you get to be able to buy that ahead of time, because I looked today, I mean, unrelated to this, I got an email about some ammunition, and I think the 223 rounds were almost 70 cents a round. Yeah. But I had seen them before, 6 or 8 months ago. I think I was buying it at right around 50 cents, 48, 51, somewhere around there. So I don't know if that's related to what you're talking about. And I know reloading is an issue. People can't get primers and all these things. So it's really a restriction. And specifically I talk about New York because that's where we are and that's where we're, being strangled. But I don't know if you're seeing that on your end as well.
Yeah, we have not run into any, when we first launched there were shortages, right? So we were pretty kind of restricted on those first few machines we put out there. And partly that was because of the time of year we hit the market, right? Hunting seasons were in full swing and, stores were stocked. And so we had some limitations. Now kind of rolling into this season where we're much more prepared now and just in terms of upping the machines. But currently with our current suppliers, we're okay. And, we're not seeing any shortages. Now in terms of price, I mean, that thing swings with the market and we're going to have those, we're going to have those moments like anyone else. We try to stay plus or minus 5% of any of the big retailers. So if you go into a Walmart or an Academy or somewhere like that, we ought to be plus or minus 5%. The nice thing is if someone walks in and says, hey man, you guys are 20% higher than what I'm seeing, all they got to do is let us know. because we can digitally change our price on any machine at any location at any time.
That was one of my questions: how you kind of price adjust when that happens. So the market fluctuates. It's a commodity like buying oil or propane or something. It's going to go up and down. You may buy it at a price that's lower than what it's currently selling at, but if you upcharge it, you make a little more money. It is what it is, right? But you have it to sell, and this is it's a convenience that you offer, so people have to pay a premium for that.
One of the things that strikes me has been funny in this experience is, and I think it just kind of raised in my head because since you guys are in New York, we've gotten a lot of knee-jerk reaction to the fact that our machines are in grocery stores, right? And so they're always like, you shouldn't be selling bullets where mom's buying bread and milk and eggs and whatnot.
I don't care if you put them in a nursery, to be honest with you. Like, the nursery kids aren't going to grab it. I don't give a shit.
It's like, it makes me laugh because I grew up here in Texas. I mean, pretty much every rural grocery store across Texas, it's sold ammo or is selling ammo at some point. It's really not that uncommon, and it's not uncommon in rural towns. And that's been one of the things that we've gotten. But look, it's like it's one of those things like, hey, why buy? You don't have to buy 1,000 rounds at one time. If as 2A supporters and we're worried about the anti-gun lobby and they're watching people bulk buying ammo at 1,000 or 5,000 rounds at a time, they're just pick up a box. You're going to the store, you're spending a couple $100 on groceries anyway. What's another $20 for a box? And by the time you do that, you're well stocked for season. You're well stocked for when you want to go to the range. I mean, all that, and it's simple and easy. But yeah, that was kind of one of the big pushbacks we got was the grocery stores, and I kind of found that humorous because they really just don't know the market when they push back like that.
Well, it's part of essentials. You pick up your bread, milk, eggs, and ammo.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and people that don't do that, I mean, it's fine. It's fine that they don't. I mean, we don't judge if you don't want to do it, but I do judge people that say that I shouldn't. I mean, it's really, don't tell me what I can do because I don't tell you what you can do.
Exactly. Yeah, I've seen worse sold in grocery stores. So
right.
Well, here's an important part of the convenience of this. It's 8 million new gun owners. How many of them do you think will go to a range and practice and be familiar with the gun? In case of an emergency, they'll know where the actual gun is and remember how to use it. I always encourage new gun owners, spend time at the range, go out, shoot. I keep a little log notebook with my range bag. So when I go to a range, I keep a log, how many rounds I shot, what date it was, which gun, which caliber. And I think when people are using their guns more. So if I go buy some groceries, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to stop at the range really quick for 20 minutes or so and shoot a box of 50 rounds, right?
Yeah.
Picked up my groceries on my way home. I got time. I'll make my wife happy that I got home on time and still shot 50 rounds.
You should never not practice. There's no reason not to practice.
It's important. As a responsible gun owner, you should practice. You need to be familiar with the gun and you need to know how to use it, because when an emergency happens and you panic, you'll shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you're not comfortable and familiar with it, absolutely. And that was, out of those 8 million, I'm willing to bet less than 20% went to the range.
Right.
Definitely went to the range more than once.
Agreed.
Maybe more than that went once, but not more than once.
So I don't know how you're. I mean, there's two questions I have here unrelated. So I don't know how your permitting works or your regulatory approval, all these things. Are you limited to only selling in grocery stores, or can you put a machine at a range?
Yeah, we can put them at a range. We've got requests in hardware stores. We've got requests in convenience stores. Mm-hmm. We've got requests, I've had requests even in a hair salon here in Texas at one point. I mean, we've had requests. We've had requests from everywhere. Now there's certain places we won't put them.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not interested. I'm not going to put them in liquor stores. I'm not going to put them in vape shops. I mean, we had a lot of requests for vape shops. Not going to put them there. We're not going to put them in certain places. But like the convenience store market, right now we have one group. They've got a chain of nearly 800 convenience stores. Mm-hmm. They want to roll out 100 and roughly around 120 stores just to start. Mm-hmm. Now, we look at the convenience store market. we don't have the machines. If a convenience store is open 24 hours, and most of them aren't, but occasionally you find some that are, we have the machines actually programmed. They're only available during certain hours, right?
Oh.
So they will shut off by 11 o'clock.
Oh,
Now,
man.
because we don't want people, they're coming home from the bar,
Yep.
they've had too much to drink, they're fired up, they go get some ammo, or for whatever reason, their ID's not scanning right and they get mad and vandalize the machine. I mean, there's just all kinds of there's reasons not to do that. But we're definitely, but we have a lot of places that are, ready to roll out. I mean, all different types of businesses. And we've had a ton of range opportunities.
Yeah, so you already have even non-overhead security guards built into the software of the system. Like, how great is that?
Right.
It
shuts down at a certain time.
Yeah. So sorry, Roman. One other question I had was about your inventory control. I mean, you guys got to buy, and again, it's not background checked where you are, but you probably have some sort of DC, a distribution center or something somewhere, and that's got to be, again, for regulatory purposes. Maybe it's not where you are, but is there some sort of accounting you got to have about what you brought in versus what you sent out? I mean, other than business wise, I mean, like regulatory wise.
Yeah. Well, for us, we don't really run into that issue, period, regulatory otherwise, because all of our inventory is real time. So like every time a box moves, we can see every machine at any given time of day, what's moving, what's up and down on inventory. And so we can order just in time inventory all the time. We see machines getting low on certain supply. We put in the order, we go and pick it up. We've got one of our distributors is local, which is nice. I mean, it's literally 5 minutes from where I live, and we can pick it up, get it to the location, install it, and it's done. So it doesn't require us to, have to warehouse a bunch of ammunition and keep a tight accounting on it. And all the accounting's automatic from what's in the machine. Now we are looking at some machine designs that allow us to carry some overstock in the machine and things like that. And we've got about 4 or 5 different designs to go into different type of markets. Not just the ones we're in now, that are going to be pretty fun and exciting when we're ready to roll those out.
Nice. And you can buy in bulk then, so you're not restricted from if you get word or you see something, or based on whatever fucking happens in this election, right? If you want to buy a bulk order of 20,000 rounds of something, you can. I mean, how you house and store it, it's up to you, but you can.
Yeah, we can. Well, we've worked out arrangements with some of our suppliers just to warehouse at their locations.
Oh, so like a blanket PO type of thing.
Yeah, so they've got, they're already holding it in their warehouse. So
I see.
We just take this sectioned off as for us. We when we're ready to come pick it up, we issue payment and PO and payment. We go and grab it. We take it off, and it's sitting there inventoried for us.
I love this. This is right in my wheelhouse. All this kind of
stuff
so you're talking about.
And we really streamlined it with our suppliers, to make it as efficient as possible. And that was always an issue when we first looked at the model. Okay, how are we restocking? What's that going to look like? How are we going to, manage all that? And my partner, I jokingly call him Rain Man. He's one of those guys that, I mean, I can start running numbers on the spreadsheet, and he'll just rattle the end number off in his head. I'm like, okay, that's right. Key it away. So, and he really runs that side of the operation.
Yep. Yeah. So he's money.
I don't want to mess it up and get in his way.
So you're operational, and he's kind of,
I kind of run all the finance department, and a lot of he really runs the operational part in the field. Okay. Everything, installation of the machines, the management of the machines, the technology, working with our manufacturers, design, implementation, all that. That's really him. And then everything else is kind of falls in my lap.
Grant, people who stock the machines, they're required to carry a firearm?
They're not required to. So as we grow, and that's something that we're probably going to do is, take care of all of them to get their CCLs. Look, in a lot of the states here in Texas, it's constitutional carry, but we would get everybody CCL insurance, take care of that, make it part of just the protection. Our current staff that we have, it's not such an issue, but they're usually carrying anyway.
Well, I mean,
on their own.
Yeah.
So, as we continue to grow, I mean, that'd be part of it. And thus, the background checks and things like that for employees that are coming. They're handling ammo, right? So you can't. If you've got a felony or something like that, you can't come work for us.
It's like carrying a bag of cash from the bank.
It is. Yeah. No, it is. And, that's funny you said that, because when we did our very first machine, right? So this is the very first one we've ever done. So we load up this SUV here in Dallas and the whole back end, right? And the thing is low riding like this all the way to Funnel City, Alabama, The back bumper is almost dragging the ground. Well, I just hope we don't get pulled over. We've got this back end full of ammo that we're transporting to this machine. And we get out there and we're putting it on dollies and we're setting the machine and we're loading it in. And I was like, we're going from, parking lot to the store. I'm thinking, we're kind of vulnerable right now with all this right here.
Yeah. So
those are, kind of just the beginning growing pains and things you learn and figure out how to do better. And, but it's fun. It's been fun.
Buy a used armor car. Like one of those things that's all you need. Something that locks up and have a zap handle, like someone that touches it fucking zap.
Disguise the ammo, put them in beer cases.
Yeah, hey, that's a good idea.
Which is probably equally as dangerous in Texas, I suppose.
We've been documenting everything. We documented that first trip, and we're documenting it just for posterity's sake. And it's been fun. It's kind of fun looking back. What's really been fun is we're documenting the hate mail.
Perfect.
I told them we're going to create our own hate mail scrapbook.
That's right. Yeah,
have that.
You got to keep those. Grant, when you make changes, you said you remotely can change prices and stuff in the machines, right? So when there are franchises that are open and you change in your, like, let's say we'll call it headquarters, right? When you change it there, does it change across all franchises as well, or the franchise has to make those changes?
Yeah, so franchisees have their own portal that they can log in, manage their own inventory, manage their pricing. We set an MSRP on the pricing, and then we give them a range plus or minus that they can adjust based on their market or what they feel like they can. So if they've been in a market like, I'm sure New York, it's going to run a little bit higher than it is, say, in South Alabama, just on an average. So they can adjust that accordingly. If they want to go a little bit lower, they can. And obviously, we don't want them selling it for $1. We don't want them selling it for $100 a box. We want to maintain the brand integrity of what we're looking to do, but we give them a window of room to adjust that price.
But you can protect it so like franchises can't upcharge those prices and
beyond a certain point.
Yeah. So that's good. And then I know you're in the early stages of this, or I don't know how far you are, but have you had any franchises open yet or no?
No. So we won't start. We're going to start taking reservations and doing interviews for franchises probably in about 30 days.
Okay.
And then we'll be ready to sign up in somewhere between 60 and 75 days from now.
So you guys already have a structure and set like regulations, requirements for franchises. Like what are the compliance?
Yeah. All those documents are in process, right? So you have to have your FDD, you got to have your operating agreements, you got to have your marketing stuff around a franchise. I mean, a franchise, in our former life and other space, my partner and we saw a lot of franchise, right? And the franchise documents, I mean, it's like this. So, we work with franchise companies that do that, contract that out. They help us build those docs. We work with them in oversight to make sure it's, appropriate to what we're doing and there's nothing missing. So we're probably, like I said, we're probably 60 days out from that completion. Once that's completed and the filings with the states that we're going into, then we'll start officially selling the franchise. In the meantime, we're talking to people, we're starting to do selection process, and seeing who's, qualifying them as a franchisee would be what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So that's a good segue, because I didn't tell Roman that you and I have kind of spoke, Grant, and this is our interview, Roman.
I was about to ask, like, so how do we submit?
Well, we could talk offline for sure, but this is just obviously we talked about it. It's we support it, and I can't see how this is a bad idea, even for the people that don't like it. I mean, you're over secure. you're over protected with the age limit. I mean, things are locked up. You got your internal software with your software security guard. You know, all these things that prevent you from buying. Like, I don't understand what more can happen that's a positive for both sides.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. So back in March or April, I was invited up to Washington, D.C., and I got to meet with 5 different congressman groups, 4 Republicans, 1 Democrat. All of them said they would get behind what we're doing. They just didn't see a downside, you know, and I think that's really the key point is like, look, when we focus on getting compliant, the laws that we have on the books for ammunition are good. They're just not really followed. And if we get in line with those and we put the right structures in place, then there's no reason to go to these extreme levels that are always trying to get pushed through by the anti-gun lobby. And, you know, that was kind of the response I got from these various Congress groups. You know, they were like, oh, I can get behind this. This makes sense. And I think that everybody, when you really kind of, regardless on the fence you're on, when I talk to them, when we get them to the place of saying, okay, look, this is how ammunition is sold today, right? This is why the things are happening, or a big part of the reason. It's not the reason, but it's a big part of the reason. And, you know, that minors can get a hold of it. It's, you know, it's easy theft item. Online's is the easiest access of all. When we look at these kind of problems, I think as a 2A community, we have a responsibility in our own industry to our communities to make things as safe as possible for responsible gun ownership. And I don't think anybody disagrees with that. That's part of protecting the value of our Second Amendment. So let's, you know, work together, use technology to create that. And then when I get pushback from folks on the 2A side, it makes me wonder, okay, what are we really afraid of here? Because we're playing into the hand that the anti-gun lobby wants us to do if we don't do these things.
Yeah, sorry, Roman, I keep interrupting you probably. I don't know that it's I think more people don't understand why this is. I mean, first of all, it's a right. It's a constitutional right. And you're trying to do it the right way. I mean, first of all, you're federally approved, so that's already done. But you're not trying to skirt something. You're not being shady about it. It's for me, I would see something like this being Jesus, what's it called? What the fuck is it called?
Standard.
Yeah, standard. See, thanks. That's why you're here. A standard for which maybe moves forward, and it could also ultimately be the way it's going to end up being for everybody.
Well, you're moving with the technology, with advancement of technology, eliminate smash and grab, right? And
the technology piece, and
yeah. So I think that's great. I mean, protecting Second Amendment, and at the same time protecting lives from bad actors. You know, I think what you guys are doing is great.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's great. It's great to be able to tell our story. I mean, there was a while there, you know, we had this media blitz, and what happened was there was an article that was inappropriate that went out on July 3rd. We pulled a machine from a Tuscaloosa store. We pulled that machine because it honestly just wasn't selling. It wasn't a good spot for us. The clientele that went into that store, honestly, I just don't think they had the extra income to go buy, you know, box of ammo. It just wasn't their bag, and that's okay. And so we just kind of made a business decision. Hey, we're going to relocate this machine. We're kind of looking at our stores. We're trying to build a company. We're trying to create proof of concept with our set of investors to scale. Like, okay, it's smart to move this machine. It just so happened that we moved that machine like the same week, within maybe like 48 hours, that their city council had some meeting and it came up. And then it blew up that the city council had it removed. Completely not true. Yeah. In fact, when we put it in there, the Tuscaloosa even had the ATF check us out, and they gave us the thumbs up. So it was just funny because that little article, that spark, even though it was wrong, like set the wheels in motion. And we were doing like 9 interviews a day,
for
almost a month, and you know, it just went you know, crazy and viral. We hit over 2 billion online impressions in 30 days. 11 countries outside the United States. And now we've even had requests for machines in France. And
so you will ship, you will sell out of state. Is that part of your plan?
Oh, I I don't think right now we'd even, consider that
Sure.
looking at it right now. I mean, gun laws in France and gun laws in Canada are so, messed up that, we would probably look at a different model, with someone in one of those countries. But, France, Canada, Mexico, we've had Japan. We were in a China media, Germany, Spain. I mean, the UAE, Great Britain, multiple times. I mean, it's just been nonstop, and I was kind of like really shocked by the response, but what it was ammo, vending machine, grocery store. They just combined it and everybody's minds, exploded. And once we kind of had those conversations, I went, oh, okay, this actually makes sense.
Well, I think people automatically jump into the negative thoughts without processing the information or having knowledge of like, well, how does it work? How is it safe? They just automatically is like, it's a vending machine, right? They picturing probably glass, you can smash. Yeah. Punch in AB3.
It actually comes with a glass break. If you want to steal, use this little hammer.
Yeah, don't get your kid stuck in there. And then they picked, grocery store. They're like, oh my gosh, how can you do that in a grocery store, right? And I think they just automatically jump into the negative conclusions without actually understanding what the product is, how it functions, and how safe it is.
Yeah, and that's why I really appreciate our conversation, because I got to a place in these interviews where I'm like, listen, unless it's a live interview, I almost don't want to have it, because every time I talk to you guys, you totally leave out 90% of it. Right. You soundbite, and then you put your narrative in the middle of it. And it was an eye-opening experience talking to the media. I mean, it was everybody from Fox Business and CNN and, NPR, and the BBC was funny. That was amusing.
BBC did it. Wow.
I did a couple of them. That was interesting.
So your sales are not, they're only limited to U.S. citizens. So if someone was coming down from Canada,
they've got to have a legal U.S. driver's license.
Yep.
Right,
yep. Perfect.
Yep. In the United States database.
Yep.
We look at the situation at the border.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right.
I mean, they can go right now into Academy. They can buy ammo, pay cash, go to a pawn shop, pay cash, steal it. Mm-hmm. They can't at our machines.
Yeah. So for your application and in your business, this is more restrictive, and it favors the legal, authorized people to do it. So it's more control, but it's for the people that I guess don't necessarily need the control, but it's not a reason for people to protest doing it.
Yeah, and then that's exactly the point, right? It's like, we're not trying to make it. I hear guys all the time, well, I've been buying ammo forever. I'm not showing my ID. Like, I get that. I totally understand it. Me too, right? Mm-hmm. But when you look at where things are headed, right, just get behind making things safer for our communities if it doesn't violate our Second Amendment rights, right? Mm-hmm. Like, find the balance in that, and that will, protect the Second Amendment long term from the anti-gun lobby. And just as a community, we have to do that. We have a responsibility to do it, quite honestly. We have a responsibility as gun owners and gun enthusiasts to, protect the communities where the tragedies are happening and help prevent that.
Absolutely. That's why we need to talk to people, otherwise they're just going to keep listening to all the negative media, and that's their only information. So best way to find locations of the vending machines, is there like a place people can go online and be like, oh, there's a vending machine near me? Is there an app? Like, how do people find where the vending machines are located?
Yeah, we're terrible in this area of our business right now. We're so busy and we're so small. AmericanRounds.com, right, is a list of a couple of them, and we haven't updated it. So I get emails. Just email us if you're not sure and you want to know if there's one in your area and it's not on our website. Just email it, because we are behind on updating some of that stuff, which I'm working on. So we've got one at the Fresh Value in Pell City, Alabama. We've got 4 in Oklahoma at the Super C Marts. We have 1 in Texas at a Lowe's Market, and we're installing another one next week at Texas Lowe's Market. And then we're completing an installation in Buena Vista, Colorado. we ran into some Buena Vista sits down in a valley between some mountains, and everything our systems talk off cellular network. So when we got it installed, no one was really thinking, oh yeah, there's not hardly any cell network here. We've got to improve that. So we have some upgraded antennas and things like that to boost the signal and make that a better location. So that one got a little hamstrung just in the short term, but we're working that out.
Hopefully with all those Elon's company there with all the satellites in space.
SpaceLink.
Yes.
SpaceLink. Internet will be much easier access.
You are in eight locations now, or some that around that matter. But so Colorado must have been a pretty big win, or was that tough to? Colorado's a little different.
Yeah, we met these guys. We went to a grocery store trade show. We were invited. It was really great. I mean, they put us in the center and spotlighted it. When you walked into the main hall, and it looked like the heavens had opened up and light shining down on the machine, hear the angels singing, it was one of those. It was great. I mean, we were really fortunate. They did such a great job for us. We walked out of there with just hundreds of contracts.
Sure.
And they were, the group in Colorado was the very first one that inked a contract there. And so, we certainly want to take care of them. That Legree's is the name of that store. And that's the thing, the stores like Legree's and Lowe's and all these stores, man, they've been so great to work with. The staff supports it. The management supports it. So we're really fortunate. These stores have really, really supported what we're doing. So you got to remember, they're competing, they're in rural towns. So their biggest competitor might be a Walmart.
Yeah.
Right. What's the difference of Walmart and that Legree's is that Walmart has a quote sporting goods section. Mm-hmm. They're still selling groceries. So why can't Legree's for themselves create a sporting goods section? And that's essentially what they're doing. Or Super C. They're all kind of starting to do that. And a lot of these stores sell deer corn. They sell pocket knives, they sell multi-tools, other things. And so they're just kind of expanding that category for themselves to compete in the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a locksmith business here where I go to get some locks and stuff like that rekeyed. They got a whole section of knives. It's like a weak spot. I'm always afraid to go there because I'm like, I'm going to walk out with spending $200 on a knife.
Go the other way. Yeah.
But I'm a knife junkie too. If I walk by one, it's like, I kind of got that.
Oh man. Yeah. Like I'm glad they're not selling Benchmade yet because I'd be. So it's, I was just thinking, you mentioned how like some of these stores compete, and so that your ammo vending machines are like the chickens of Costco. They get these cheap chickens, right? Just so rotisserie chickens, so people can come.
The ones they lose money on,
and they can spend more money on other product. So it's like, come get ammo here, but you can also get all these other things.
It's been crazy. This one little store in it was in Wetumpka, Oklahoma, I believe, which is a little bitty town in Oklahoma. Usually we'd pull in there. There might be at most 5 cars in the parking lot at any given time. Mm-hmm. And my partner was going up there to restock the machine. And there's literally like overflow of the parking lot. There's like 75 cars in the parking lot. They're parking across the street. And he walked in, they're all gathered around the machines, taking pictures. It's been fun. It's a little bit surreal and fun to be a part of something that people have been supporting and getting behind. And, we feel really blessed by it. It's not anything we take for granted. Mm-hmm. It's been a great experience.
Well, I appreciate what you guys are doing. How you're protecting the Second Amendment at the same time you're complying with regulations and being safe and above and beyond what some of the stores are doing. And hopefully that's going to be like the future, and they'll save more lives. And at the same time, will give us an opportunities, those who carry firearms or enthusiasts or love to go to a shooting range, to have that easy access. And maybe in the future, an app where people can be like, where's a vending machine? Or I don't know how many hunters.
We have some new features coming. Coming. Those machines are going to do more than just sell ammo before it's over.
Yeah.
But
that's
Look,
awesome.
you're
close to the best right now.
You're already spending his money. We
got some cool features coming.
You'll be selling arrow tips, you for some hunters, and I hunt, so I never forget ammo, but sometimes you go out there and you're like, I wish I had different arrow tip, let me go see what this vending machine has.
Yeah, but we appreciate it for sure and what
So
you're doing.
the best way to reach you guys is website?
Website, AmericanRounds.com. That's the best way. You can just hit the info link. It'll get forwarded to the right person within the company to respond based on what the inquiry is about.
Do you guys push any updates through any social media or?
Yeah. So, we're on, all of them, Instagram, X, those are probably the two biggest we're on all the time. We've got some YouTube stuff. We've got some other things. Facebook basically banned us and kicked us off. Zuckerberg kind of frowns on it. I'll do it on my personal page and all of a sudden I'll get, you're in Facebook jail for a week.
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with that, but
he's got his security who carries firearms, right?
Yeah. So, it's what it is. But, you can find us on social media. Definitely follow us. We're always trying to put out some stuff. In fact, our most recent post, one of our partners, he went through all the big box stores and was just showing how the ammo just sits there walking up and down the aisles. And there's not a customer service rep in sight. Nowhere. And he's like, this is right now. This is why you're seeing the theft and the shrinkage in these stores. You're just walking around, which is safer, we're always trying to come up with creative ways to get the point across. But
thank you guys. So did you submit our application?
We're doing it now. It's a verbal application. So,
okay.
But we appreciate what you're doing. We certainly,
Grant
appreciate
Major,
your time as well.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for what you're doing, and I hope your company grows and protects Second Amendment rights and protects people's lives as well.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I look forward to following your podcast more in the future too.
Thank
you.
You're
there.
Appreciate
Thank you so much.
Hey, Hopheads, Frank here.
And Roman. Welcome to Brews Banter, the podcast where we sip and spill the funniest stories over a cold one.
We're not just brewing laughs and comedy. We also discuss life stories and current events in every episode.
Follow the frolic on our socials, where we brew up more than just banter. Check out Linktree/Brews and Banter for all the goods.
And guess what? We've got a VIP section. Join our Patreon for exclusive content, behind-the-scenes brew secrets, and maybe even a blooper reel or two.
Subscribe, laugh, and unlock the full Brews and Banter experience. Because life is too short for bad beer and boring stories. Cheers.